Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Odessa the Dark Crusade. Tonight, in the endeavors of both Memnon and Lady Irene of Clan Lasombra, they have, for their own individual reasons, put forth a machination to build a church in Riverside. I would say that this evening, with their separate contributions, uh, Lady Irene and Memnon will walk through Riverside, meeting at the edge of the town to see amongst the slum and decay what site would be preferable for their new church. So, after taking the time to feed Memnon, we'll have gone to the edge of the Merchants District, bordering Riverside, roughly around. Oh, Jesus Christ! I'm trying to blank. Omar Shadid's shop.
That's near Riverside?
Borders it, if I'm correct.
I thought it was on the bazaar. Then it can never border Riverside.
I thought the bazaar was in the northwestern part of the city. The Riverside is the east of the Merchants District.
Yeah. Maybe. I don't know anymore. Doesn't matter.
Okay.
They meet.
You'll find Memnon is not trying to hide so much, but you see that he's wearing a black cloak. I suppose in the newly freed people that can roam amongst the night, he is just trying to blend in as he waits, I would say, on a corner of the street.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Irene also tries to blend in her way. Also wearing dark clothing. Taking off her jewelry except for a certain cross that hangs around her neck, but she's covered it like it basically underneath her cloak. Like her hair is like pulled up in a simple updo and not in like the elaborate ways of the nobles. She still looks much cleaner than most people in this area of town, and she probably still kind of stands out, but doesn't really scream noble off her as normal. So she'll walk up to Memnon and curtsies as usual.
Lady Irene, I'm glad that you've made it.
So Memnon, it's a pleasure to see you again. It's been some time.
That it has. The wheels of our plans keep turning. Sometimes our revolutions take a while.
And very true.
There is some concern I would wish to have your counsel about, if you wouldn't mind giving your advice.
Well, if my advice would do any good, I'm happy to give it.
I'm having. I am at an impasse, an indecision. There is a request, an order that has been offered to me to fill. Some weapons that, if my knowledge is proficient and my estimation correct, essentially, Irene, and Memnon's trying to keep this as quiet as possible, as maybe he leads her away somewhere a little bit more secluded. I am concerned that these weapons may possibly be turned against us as our own people.
Hmm. Which faction within the city do you think has placed this order then?
It's a mortal faction. It's the captain of the Riverside Watch. He, I have been working closely with him to accelerate Riverside's redevelopment.
Mm-hmm.
At the moment, this request and the possibilities of it, hmm, the money he offers is very good, but there's a certain amount of responsibility I feel to not be the maker of what may cause our own destruction.
Um, the current captain of Riverside is a sort of a close friend of mine. I don't believe he would pick up weapons against us.
Is he aware of our existence?
No, not as in what we are.
That's good. There still remains this possibility. Let me explain further. He's asked me to smelt certain amulets, talismans in the uh, of the faith he has in the Prophet Muhammad.
Mm-hmm.
There is a distinct possibility that such weapons may be used to channel faith of mortals.
Yes. That does
Well,
not mean that they necessarily hurt us.
possibly, but imagine if you will, it's a large order.
Mm-hmm.
If the captain was using this to that end, for that reason, and again, if not against us, then against whom? What?
That's interesting. If you want to, I can try and see what the reason behind this order is.
If the men are spooked because they've seen something, well, I'd like to know what they've seen to make such an order. It's unusual.
I agree, but it might very well be that they have seen something. Problems have been here in Riverside for so long. It's been many months now since I've heard rumors of occult raising here. And I am afraid that something infernal is definitely going on here.
That would make sense. And if that were the case, I think whatever possibility of harm done to us would be outweighed by the danger such a force represents. Arming them with capable weapons to turn against such a tide would that in that case would be beneficial to us.
Yes. Also, these symbols of faith don't necessarily hurt all of us equally.
By way of the gifts of blood or
Our
different
virtues,
afflictions.
our virtues, our belief, our faith, the path we walk.
Well, if you would on my behalf, just inquire with the captain. Uh, should you feel that nothing to our own danger and to the silence of the blood.
Actually, oh, I'm sorry. I beg your forgiveness. I was interrupting you.
No, it's fine. But after you ask him if you feel confident in him, I will make him these weapons. I also have the hesitation that if I were to turn down such a sum, you would grow suspicious of me.
Mm, I understand. Well, we could see if he is on duty now. I wanted to check in Riverside tonight anyway. There's something I want to look for, but it's sort of odd.
Memnon just kind of cocks his head to the side, inquiring,
Um, I've had a feeling, sorts, that as far as this infernalism, there's sort of an end game coming soon, and I've uh, I've seen um, in sort of a dream. Um, I've seen blue flames, pillars of them. Um, God damn it, Chris. Uh,
Poorly.
I'm not. Uh, Whatever. I've seen pillars of blue flames, a couple of them, in the city in sort of a dream, and it's I think that is the signal of their end game. I'm not exactly sure where they they were, but I know one of them was in at least in Riverside, so I was hoping to find sort of a location, a signal of where this blue fire might take place in the future. And if we would tie that to this order that you just got, if the guards are spooked of a certain location, we might want to inspect it ourselves as well.
hmm. Yes, we wouldn't want them to take their own initiative and go in there and, well, be unprepared.
Hmm.
Very well, Lady Irene. It would be an honor to accompany you. I seem to have survived in your company every time we are in each other's.
I I thank you for your trust, Samemnon. I hope it is well placed.
Hmm. It's a gamble, but I have faith.
Yeah. So into Riverside they go. Chris, if they would pay a visit at the guard's house or something, I don't know if there's like a central spot for them, like a gatehouse or something.
Where in particular?
The Riverside.
Okay.
Yeah,
Trying.
Memnon's gonna. Sorry, go on.
No, please, you go first.
No, I was just gonna say Memnon is gonna emphasize that he's asking you to talk to him for him.
Hmm. Yep,
Well, if
that's.
he'll probably hang outside and just look for Christoph if he's around.
Mhm. And Irene is going to try and find the captain of the guard
Okay.
of Riverside
Um,
again.
yeah. So Irene, you're gonna go looking for the Seaworth guard. He's probably gonna be in his office. So Memnon, you go looking for Christoph.
Yes.
Well, you don't initially see him at the gatehouse. Do you ask around, or are you just gonna wait around?
He'll ask the nearest sentries, if they haven't have seen him.
Oh, yeah, they tell you that he's out on patrol. Should be back in an hour.
Okay.
Yeah, they're not as thuggish as they were to you in the past. In fact, most of the faces here look new.
Okay. Most of them look new.
What's the name of the guy you installed again?
Oh God.
Don't make me look at your blue book again, goddammit.
Then I need to look at my blue booking.
Let me go find
Which
your
is
blue
alright.
booking.
I think it's on page 3.
Oh, that's useful.
I think. I'm not sure. I'm looking.
It better be.
Well, how about you look at page 2 and I look at page 3, and then at some point one of us will find a name.
Or maybe I do what I want.
You can also always do what you want. Hussam al-Din.
There you go.
Huh. I won.
What page is that?
3. At least that's
Okay,
where I
yeah,
found
yeah,
it.
found him. Yep. You go looking through Samaldine. Irene, you're quite welcome to ask around, but you hear he has retired for the evening. It's fairly late at night. His work ends in the evening, so he goes home around the time you get up.
Fair enough. Okay, well that's quickly done. Is there any is that something that Irene would look for if like talking to the guards and watching their behavior? Do they look spooked or more alert as possible, or as usual, or do they hear like can we like pick up like, I don't know, a rumor that maybe something
Rumors. That's to be a streetwise would be really good, but it's not a stat in this game. It would be, let's see, rumors would be, I guess it depends on the rumor. What kind of rumor are you looking for?
a particular area where they may have seen something, or a place where they don't want to come anymore, that it gives them an uncomfortable feeling, shit like that.
You're looking to pick up rumors, which I would say is probably. I'm just going to double check to see if they actually have it as a sample rule. Damn it. Let's go down. I'm just double checking, but otherwise it will be charisma subterfuge.
Okay.
Difficulty 7.
Okay.
These are strangers, so they're a bit. You're not really in any of their social circles.
There's a 10.
That's good. There's rumors of a dark-skinned man preying on people at night. It's kind of casually mentioned, just not in Riverside. In fact, they kind of brag out, if you were to come down here, we'd show him a thing or two. But sort of attitude, sort of City Watch bravado.
Mm-hmm.
Of he wouldn't dare show his face down here, not after how we've cleaned up after how we've cleaned up Riverside. Oh no, sir. He'd be naught but a fool. But they don't really say where, not in their conversation at least.
Okay.
You don't pick up any other rumors.
That's a shame. Okay. In that case, she'll go back to Memnon.
I would say maybe Memnon would just make passing casual conversation with the guards as he waited for Irene or Kristoff to appear. I don't think I would necessarily dig for too much information. Maybe just get a sense of the men. Yeah, I guess
You can wait around for Kristoff to show up if you want.
Would Irene reappear before or?
Yeah, probably. She would be told she is more than she's more than welcome to leave a message for him in the morning. And it will be left for her. Sorry, it'll be left for the captain to arrange past that point.
Okay. She would just leave a message to. She'll just ask him to tell him that she dropped by. And ask if he required anything.
Required anything? Anything in particular?
No, as in if he requires anything of her, if she can help him in any way.
Oh. Yeah, the one of the guards will he'll be more than happy to leave that message on your behalf.
Okay.
And thanks you for showing such interest.
She'll sign with Julia Orbellion, of course, but yeah.
Yeah, and support for their activities. Glorious noble lady, many bows.
Okay.
There is a lot of respect shown towards you.
I hope so. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, she won't really pry into that yet. Let's first wait on what he comes to her with. That was not proper English, but well, you know. She'll first wait a response from him before she will go prying into why he is trying to obtain holy weapons or holy symbols. So yeah, she'll just return to Memnon and tell him that yeah, she didn't meet with the captain because she was already at home. So
Memnon will thank Irene. Thank you very much, Lady Irene. It was just a matter of timing, but I trust that this inquiry will be in your hands.
I will make sure that I'll try and be as delicate as possible while inquiring after it. But yeah, might be useful to know.
Memnon will just look back to the guards. He'll tell them if they'd be so kind as to send his regards to Christoph after introducing himself if he hasn't already. I know I don't have any etiquette, so.
Yeah, you're not very good at this whole introduction thing. You're like, hey, Christoph. Irene, Christoph. Oh, by the way, she's a noble, blah. It's like he just shakes her hand and then he's like, oh, shit. So it takes about you kind of converse for a bit. It takes about half an hour after Irene gets out.
Mm-hmm.
After you're she goes around looking for rumors. You're kind of standing around. You're asking around for Christoph, and Irene goes into the building. Leaves a message for the city watch captain.
Oh, Irene will pass the rumor along to Memnon, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Well, with that little bit that Memnon was concerned with, I think the lead is with you. Sounds good.
Sorry, what?
I think you're in the lead now.
Oh, I thought you wanted to wait for Christoph, or did we?
Would it be too much longer? Oh, okay then. Yeah.
So Christoph shows up. I mean, by the time you guys are alone, it's only about like half an hour. You see him coming back with a small crew that he appears to be leading.
A crew of fellow soldiers?
Not soldiers, city watch guard.
Sorry, city watch guards.
Oh, yeah, he's walking back, and he just says to them as he kind of notices you. I'll be just a minute, gentlemen. Just you can go ahead without me. I'll be just be a few minutes. And he walks up to you. Master Memnon, it's good to see you again. Under better circumstances, I hope this time.
He could see that Memnon is in all smiles as he approaches. Christoph, it's good to see you again. Yes. Please let me introduce you to Irene here. Irene, this is my friend Christoph. He'll give her a chance to speak.
He's just like, oh God, sounds. Almost as if he's heard of you from somewhere.
Oh, really? Wow. Yeah, Irene will look curtsy as well, and it's a pleasure to meet you, Sir Christoph.
Oh no, the honor is all mine, my lady.
It's always good to hear or to meet a friend of a friend.
Yes, the gracious lady here is. We are both embarking on adding some more. I don't want to say the word restitution. Something akin to redevelopment, but that's what I'm getting at. Sorry, I'm just at a loss for a word. Yes, Memnon will say to Christoph, the lady and I are embarking on perhaps bringing a new church into some of the ruin of the town, help the rebuilding efforts little bit more further along.
That sounds absolutely fantastic. Where in the district are you thinking?
Memnon kind of looks to Irene and then looks back to Kristoff. Well, that's why we decided to take the time this evening to perhaps walk through the town, see what site looks best.
Oh. I walk the streets every day and every night. If you need a guide, I'd be more than happy to provide. I just need to change real quick. He kind of he kind of gestures and kind of looks down at his armor. You recognize it's somewhat higher standard. It's higher standard armaments that he's bearing than you saw him last with. And he just says, and he's kind of covered in dust and it's a bit dirty. And he says, not fit for guiding members of the landed elites around in.
Of course, if the lady would like the company and wouldn't mind the wait.
Of course not. I would be happy to have such a brave young fellow along. No, I make Irene sound really old, but she's not. Oh well.
I mean, this guy. Don't worry. This guy's more amazed by the fact that somehow Master Menmon is like best friends with a member of the nobility. But that's not really what he's focusing on right now. He's focusing more on the fact that Menmon appears to be some like the chosen one. But there you go. Yeah, apparently Menmon is like medieval Luke Skywalker or something. But Kristoff will get changed. He gets changed into finer gear. Or it's the same gear, but it's just clean is important.
Do I recognize the work? Is it mine?
Let me check. Roll a chance dice. I'll definitely say you're one of the main figures, so I'll set it to D4. What number do you want to be? 1, 2, 3, or
4? Between 1, 2, 3, or 4?
Yeah.
I'll go for 3.
Lucky. It's not yours. No bragging rights this night. It's not yours. It's made by another. It's made by another smith. But it doesn't. If you had time to analyze the make, you could probably tell who it was from. As particularly, kind of each smith has their own style in some sense or another, and wishes to leave their own mark, wishes to ensure that their work is identifiable to them,
right.
For the purposes of effectively marketing. But you don't recognize it at a glance. You're definitely close to, if not on par with your own, though. It's certainly it's certainly up there with the best of them.
The fires of capitalism.
How I yearn to crush the competition, Menmon thinks to himself.
It's all about the climb.
I see a competitor. They are dead.
Oh no.
They shall die now. How dare they oppose me? But yes. He walks out. I think we'll stick to the south and the centre for this evening, if that is okay with yourselves. the east and the north are still a little bit rough. We've dealt with most of the damage, but we haven't been able to cure the infection entirely.
Infection? Memnon questions.
Well, the disease of crime, that is, that plagues any city.
Ah, I catch your meaning.
Yes, sorry, poor choice of words, I suppose.
Can I be any of that?
Sure.
I mean, was it really a poor choice of words, or did he just not want to worry us?
Oh, yeah, sure, go ahead. Or your P's and E's. And
I
your
will.
P's.
One success.
Okay, it was a poor choice of words.
Okay. I mean, with what we're also looking into,
Yeah.
But okay. No, I mean, Irene is fine with just checking that area if that's good advice. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, Memnon would just give Irene a look and kind of confer that that sounds like the safe route. So I suppose we'll be following Christoph. That's
Mm-hmm.
who he thinks.
Yeah, he guides you around the city. He's almost like a tour guide in a way. Unfortunately, there's not really much to see or talk about in Riverside. He doesn't really have much positive to say. If he could talk all day on the negatives, he could say, and this is where the Gladstone family was killed by the brothers of Paul, horribly murdered on the 25th. We never caught the culprits. But he does not say those things. It's he's just walking down, passes by another crew nod at him. He appears to actually be fairly judging by how City Watch are reacting to him. He seems to be recognized within the Watch now.
Mm-hmm.
Like his face seems to be known. Like the other guards recognize him.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's part of a big social circle. He's just guiding you down, and he's talking about like the various area, and he's talking about the repopulation of the area. And he's just saying, as you kind of walk down a stretch of kind of half-empty street, we're going to have the streets rebuilt. The foundations have already been laid. I'm going to see if we can encourage some of the families that moved out of the district back in. It's a lot safer now, and with the involvement of the Merchants Guild, we're seeing if we can bring some business back to the neighborhoods. The square, the Riverside Square is just a few blocks down. If you want to see it.
Well, yes, of course. We would love to.
It'd actually be a great place to have a place of worship there. Funny enough, I haven't heard anything of a local mosque or synagogue, but
We think there would be a need for one of those as well.
Well, there are very few places of worship left in Riverside. There's only really the one chapel. It's quite small. Good man who runs it.
Is it a local priest?
Yes. Well, very faithful man. Stood strong with the people while being ransacked by thugs. Stood by his faith, never let the brothers poison it in any way. Never used it to justify thuggery.
I see.
Also, to be honest, he's a good reason why many of the families in Riverside are still here. A lot of them lost their homes, had to use the church as a makeshift shelter.
Of course. Is that chapel? I would be interested in working together with him. Perhaps. Would it be possible to see where this chapel is located?
Yeah, it's in the east side, which is still a little bit unsafe. I wouldn't be comfortable taking you there on my own.
Two strong men.
Oh, pardon?
With two strong men here, I'm sure I have nothing to worry about.
Lady Irene, I am sure that you mean to flatter both I and my friend Christoph here. But Christoph, let's give him the benefit of the doubt that a man in trenches here, it's not safe for him. Let us tread carefully.
A lady of nobility and a gentleman of affluence are both would both be significant targets to both be targets to the Sons of Paul. They've always been heavy in the east side. We've never been able to get rid of them entirely.
I'm sorry, what was that last part? The who?
The Sons of Paul.
Ah, the Sons of Paul.
Yes, I've heard of that group, but both of us are fairly inconspicuous. I'm sure that if we would have more guards, we would be more noticeable than if it would just be the three of us.
These are the times I wish I had expression.
I don't have expression. I do have empathy.
Perhaps if I could arrange a separate tour with my subordinates, maybe tomorrow. I would dare not risk your safety.
Memnon will try to give Irene just a look as that's a good idea. Just like nod, accept, standing behind Christoph.
This is my boy.
Irene will just give it a bit more thought, but then we'll just nod. Yes, that is probably for the best. Thank you for your good advice, Christoph.
May I ask, Christoph, is this chapel across the river or still on this side of the river, eastwards?
Oh, it's the river covers. The river's largely north side. It would certainly be on this side of the river.
That's safe. All that flooding that occurred not too long ago. Tell me, in your
We were fortunate; it never touched the church.
in your own opinion, would some underground channel help this neighborhood in case of another catastrophe as such?
Well, pardon?
In this part, out of character, in this part of the world, do they know the concept of like sewer drains and underground tunnels?
I mean, they have some understanding.
Okay. Well, okay. Then essentially,
There are fairly basic flood defenses for areas that suffer from them a lot, or at least where it's warranted.
okay. Just Memnon was just asking if, in Christoph's opinion, if he thinks this part of town would do better with the better drainage system in light of the flood.
I'm no expert on the matter, to be honest. You probably know more about it than I do. Personally, I've always been a bit uncomfortable tampering of our only real water supply in the city, but every now and then a monsoon hits. Would be wise to have some sort of countermeasure. Maybe that could be easily removed or enabled and disabled, for a lack of a better phrase for it.
I catch your meaning. Yes.
He continues taking you down. I think you're heading towards the square, and he kind of shows you to the square. The square really isn't really anything remarkable. In fact, it looks like there's a reconstruction effort going on, like in most parts of the side. It looks like this place actually has had more of it. Like buildings are actually a significant ways to completion. Some are even quite close. Although some buildings have yet to be started. Others, and there are still certain empty spaces, for lack of a better term, places where buildings could be laid out. Maybe the areas, maybe that space has already been bought, maybe it's been reserved, or maybe it is on sale. It's not displayed as such, though. It's just kind of one big square with a bunch of stalls. Well, actually, most of the stalls have been removed because a lot of them were half sunken into the earth, or part of the wonderful mountain of detritus that made up this square a long time ago. Actually, looks fairly clean. It doesn't look like there's a lot of business there right now. There is actually still one very large building, however, one very large shop that still stands, and actually has 2 mercenary guards outside of it.
2 what?
Mercenary guards.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, they're clearly mercenary. They're not city watch at all. They stand outside. They look fairly professional. They're definitely well armed, like on par with city watch.
Memnon would definitely ask carefully of Christoph if he knew what was the nature of that shop.
That place has always been there.
They must have some expensive wares if they have such privateer guards.
Largest general store in the entire district. I suppose it must be quite small to some of the works in the merchants district, though. They largely deal in general wares. They have an area for livestock. way about a floor down, but I've rarely ever gone down there. I say livestock, it's more of a butcher's, really.
Butchers.
Yeah. Don't know who owns it, though. Never seen the guy.
May I make a commerce roll on the quality of these mercenary? And just at least by telling by their gear.
Oh yeah, sure. Make me a perception crafts check. Your blacksmithing will be relevant, yeah. Okay, you get 3 successes. Oh yeah, definitely. I said it was on par with the City Watch. That much is very true. It's less uniform, at least in the weaponry. The armor itself that they're wearing is largely the same as the City Watches. The only difference is very bespoke cosmetic customizations that the mercenaries have made to it, largely by painting it or adding certain decorations to it. Very, very small cosmetic change. It's not like they've put deer antlers on their shoulder pads or anything. It's largely just been painted over a little bit. But other than that, there's nothing particularly special about it. Other than that, these guys could probably go toe to toe with any City Watch member, any City Guard. The real power, the real difference comes in their weaponry, which they both appear to be armed with an arming sword. One also appears to be armed with a shield and a crossbow with, you reckon, 2 dozen bolts on their back. And the other guy also has a very large that can only be described as a halberd, not really a spear, it's more of a halberd. You could swing it down like an axe almost. So each one appears to be uniquely armed.
Memnon will just quip. Well, he must be doing some good business with an array of privateers. Tell me, Christoph, is the influx of the people that have been dispersed from Riverside, is it a steady tide coming in?
Well, we've constructed a lot of homes on the border, but not many in the centre yet. I think we'll start seeing more people once we get the bulk of housing and some of these businesses re-established.
Oh, Lady Irene,
Merchants Guild is offering some better deals than I was expecting, from what I hear at least. To be honest, some of these spaces would be a good place for your church. A lot of people come through here, or at least as many people as that are in Riverside come through here. It's the only place where business can reasonably be conducted. It's one business that's still standing is right here. If you wanna trap people to a place, you'd want it in the center where everybody goes.
What do you think, Lady Irene? I think this area, as Christos says, would be ideal.
It's also safe. Patrols are coming through here pretty much constantly. There'll
It
always
does sound.
be some guy. He immediately stops.
Mm. It does sound like a unique place to at least get started, and it seems there's still a lot of room to actually place a church.
There is, and um, I'm sure you can make whatever arrangements would be needed to ensure the project is a success. I mean, I certainly would be in support. And to be honest, we could use several places of worship here. It's not many people are constantly having to travel outside the neighborhood. It's why the place is so unpopular. You know, if you can't perform your duties and pay your dues before God, then
Yes, I understand. Hmm.
how
I
are you
think it's
supposed to
well
pay?
worth looking into.
Are there many orphan children in Riverside now?
We're getting less of them.
That's good.
Doesn't mean there's still a lot around.
Do you have many orphanages?
We did. We still have quite a lot. Some of them did not survive the plague or the floods. To be honest, a lot of the children that were in those orphanages, I suspect many were already a part of the butterfly children and the wasps, but I can only imagine how many more joined just to survive. To be honest, we, as the Watch, tend not to pay too much attention to either group. We've got much greater threats than a bunch of homeless pickpockets. And most of them have already had it rough through life.
Well, I'll see what I can do to raise some extra funds. Perhaps, Lady Irene, I could find resources where we could patch or refurbish one of the existing orphanages in addition to our church.
Mm-hmm.
It would be good for the next generation, people in Odessa, to have some sweeter part of the history.
Yes, I do agree. It is important to look after our future. Is any of the orphanages actually close by? Or perhaps is there one close to this chapel you speak of, so that we might visit it tomorrow?
Yeah, there's a couple nearby. If you're thinking about refurbishing, I'd discuss it with the matrons and housemen. I've been hearing some talk of them that they've been dealing with a lot of violence recently.
I'm sorry, you said the matrons of house.
Oh, of the matrons and the housemen of the orphanages.
Oh, okay. So,
Violence.
The events that took place really left its mark on the kids, even those that didn't lose their homes. It's becoming a real issue. As I said, we're getting less getting less orphans in general, but we're seeing an uptick in butterfly children and wasps.
No, I personally was looking to take on some apprentices. If you happen to know any boys who are above age and good with their hands, and good spirit, send them my way.
I think a lot of them will take anything they can get. It's appreciated. I'm sure the matrons in the house would be very happy to hear that.
I might see if I can do something. I'll check if some of the noble houses are in need of servants.
If they can be taught, then
Yes, that is, of course. As Sir Memnon here said, they need to be in the right spirit. They need to be able to work hard and, well, they need to have not loose hands nor loose lips. Discretion is a thing.
they have lived a life far from the standards that most of us are raised to believe in. But
I understand, but there are always those who would welcome the opportunity to change.
of course, and I have no doubt that many of them at least would be enthusiastic to learn. In fact, I think many of them would be honored, if not for the right reasons. Curiosity in cats and all that.
Of course.
But I think a roof over one's head, a warm meal, and a bed would do much to, if you don't mind me saying, my lady.
Of course. So, you're saying, sorry, I was still thinking about the church and you mentioned the other places of worship. You're saying that at this point there's absolutely no religious actions in Riverside. Perhaps some people who.
Well,
Hmm?
there are no established religious houses outside of the church in. So as I look at my map, around the northwestern side that I mentioned earlier, but there are local gatherings from time to time, pagans and the like. They're more of a nuisance than anything else.
I'm gonna have to roll for this. Memnon's gonna try to ask. Memnon wants to ask, and where did they gather without seeming like he's interested in going there. So I'll roll a subterfuge. Do you want charisma or manipulation?
Subterfuge.
You say manipulation or charisma?
And it's manipulation.
Okay.
You are attempting to obfuscate your mood and withhold information from him.
Okay.
So eager.
Very eager.
Yeah, don't jump the gun, man. Okay, yeah, you're able to. He's your friend. You know, you don't. It's not really hard. He trusts you, so it's not hard for you to manipulate him to your ends. Make it sound so terrible.
Only
Yeah,
manipulating
Like,
friends.
he says, they gather in a few spots in Riverside, mainly in open areas. Hopefully, the return of business and law and repopulation will do a bit to chase them out, to be honest. I have reason to suspect half of them have been robbing the district blind for the past few months, while the curfew is in effect.
Mm.
hmm.
Is there much criminality amongst the pagans?
A few have been arrested in the past, but not much else. We did hear that some of them have been breaking curfew when curfew was still up and about, but we didn't really have the resources to deal with them then, and even when we did, nothing really came of it.
Has there been much arson happening lately?
Arson? No. We clamped down. That was one of the first things we clamped down on. To be honest, there's not left. There's not that. There wasn't that much left to burn down by the time we put a stop to it. Helped us in the long run. If I'm being morbid about it.
Reasonable assessment.
But yeah, they're mainly a nuisance. Go around stirring up a bit of trouble here and there, forcing us to spend resources on them when we should be tackling real criminals, breaking curfew and the like. Get into a fight with a lot of the city watch when we go to rein them in. Eventually, we just started reprioritizing. They just weren't worth the time and the trouble. If you got to choose between angry common folk and angry serial killers. I know which one I'm going to prioritize dealing with first.
Yes, it is a pragmatic choice. An efficient one.
I haven't done much to help our image here. They seem pretty dead set against us. The City Watch, I mean. They don't trust us. To be fair, until recently, neither did most of the neighborhood. But I think the curfew really split us apart. We were on fairly good terms with I would say good terms. There just wasn't much involvement from either side, if you know what I mean. You know, these people could have their gatherings. The City Watch wouldn't care as long as they didn't create trouble for themselves or other people. Well, that I consider that fairly charitable, given their views both on us and on God. But
Perhaps
greater evil. Yeah, go ahead, Bruce.
Sorry. Well, perhaps a gathering once again where both sides can come together, like in a festival. just as equals. It's understandable the begrudgment they may hold when a less than just commander was in charge. But the men now that you serve with and under whom's command, I I think bridges can be mended once everyone remembers that they've had a stake in Riverside.
No. If I may say, with all due respect, given, of course, who would hold a festival in Riverside?
Oh, I'm certain that under the right occasion and with the right preparation, perhaps something with the right tastes. Tell me,
If you
Gustav.
believe it can be done, personally, I wouldn't have my hopes set too high. Not that many people have moved back into the neighborhood, and the people that are here are just trying to get by.
Well,
Perhaps not yet, but I do agree with Samamnon here. I think at some point it might be possible, and it might give people some hope that Riverside can and will be a good place again.
I'm going to roll manipulation subterfuge because he never really believed Riverside was a good place.
It's fine. I
There you
mean,
go. He gets 2 successes to hide the fact that he doesn't really agree with that statement. Or that he has serious doubts about it, shall we say. Not necessarily disagree, he just never believed. Right. Yeah. Of course. If you believe it can be done, I mean, maybe give it 6 months, maybe a year or two. I could see it happening once more people have moved in. The area is a bit more gentrified, and there's business and culture has returned to the area. Maybe right now
so you see.
we're still in the process of reconstruction. The rabble have been dealt with. Well on our way to re-establishing business within the district. And now it's just soon it'll be the people, and hopefully then there'll be some opportunities outside of this daily lives of the people that are here. Most of them have never really had the opportunity to let their hair down a bit, to relax for various reasons. But yes,
So they should be given that opportunity.
Oh, yes, that I agree. I just personally, again, with all due respect, I believe it's somewhat early on. But if you believe it can be done, then I take your word for it wholeheartedly.
You know the neighborhood better than I do. If you say that it's too early, then perhaps we should wait. But I definitely intend to celebrate the coming of a new church in this area. And I think the people should have the opportunity to celebrate this too.
That would be a reason for celebration.
I think it
Yes.
would be a good opportunity if the city watch and the people there had a chance to eat and drink together as, well, good churchgoers.
A square would be a good place for celebration, and the church would be the completion of the construction of a church, of a place of worship, would be real cause for celebration. Would be timely. Well, I must admit, I would be most impressed if the project was to be completed within half a year.
Where there is the will, there is the way.
This is very true. I do not believe if there was not a will to fix Riverside, then it could not be done. I'm glad there was. People are coming together. It's just that they're still getting back on their feet.
You can't blame them after everything this place has been through.
It's why I can only assume many labourers are being brought in from outside the district, not only because of the population issue, but many people here have already been brought to their breaking point. I believe it was wise by the guilds and the Regency to bring in workers from outside the district. There was already the issue of quelling riots within the area, many of which were not caused by criminal elements, but merely the hungry and the desperate, just looking for an outlet. But yes, I believe that is all for tonight, unless there's anything else.
Good.
At least on this side of the district. Tomorrow, I'd be more than happy to take you, give you the full trip around the east side.
I would be looking forward to that.
Sorry, excuse me. Yes, Memnon just slightly bows his head in agreement.
Excellent. Is there anything else? Is there anything else I can do for you before I escort you back to the gatehouse? Or to the guardhouse, sorry.
Well, not for me. I would very much like to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to show us around.
Memnon will say something similar. It was good to see you again, and thank you for taking this extra time after your own shift to guide my lady friend and myself.
He
Yes,
looks a bit surprised when you say lady friend, like what?
Oh dear, I didn't even like that.
Oh no, I'm so sorry, Memon, you're going to die. Because, you know, he has a dot in etiquette, so. He understands how to defer to nobility. Basically, just do whatever they say and being mega, ultra, duper, super duper polite to them.
I know 3 languages, okay? Maybe it was a mistranslation.
Bitch, I'm cultured. Get over it.
Oh, no. Oh, dear.
But yes, Maybe despite what shock overcomes Kristoff,
But he doesn't actually make noises. He just looks very tense.
Memnon will actually slip him just a few coins. Here, why don't you take some of yourself and some of your other offers and enjoy it? Or drink.
No payment is required. This is purely me performing my service to you both.
Still, it is nothing between friends. Thank you again for your time, Kristoff.
Well, you've always told me not to look a gift horse in the mouth. And he just does whisper to you, and that won't be enough if she asks me to arrest you.
Memnon will just give him a kind of like he doesn't understand why. Like, what did I do? Lady Irene is my friend, my lady friend.
Look, he just really doesn't want to have to stab you in the face, alright? He really doesn't want to have to stab his bro in the face. I think that's legit. I think that's relatable. But yeah, I assume you shall all return to the guardhouse with Kristoff.
Sure.
Okay. And yeah, would that be a good place to end the scene?
I think so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well then, thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. And we'll see you all next time. Next time.